My task today is to present to you the results of a social demographic review a kind of research. It was a serious research for more than 1,000 people that we did for the Russian-speaking community. You may know that Russians came to Cyprus many years ago at the beginning of 90s, and the community was formed around the business community. So first Russian people who came to Cyprus and settled themselves in Cyprus were business people dealing with international affairs, mainly with trade. Cyprus was a very good destination, but since then, more than 30 years of history of the Russian-speaking community in Cyprus, and nobody still knows how many Russians we have here. I can guess that we have around 50,000 Russian speakers in Cyprus, 50. I underline the word Russian speakers because they are not only Russians by nationality. Even in Russian Federation, there are people of 180 nationalities approximately. But also, please consider those people who speak Russian, but they are from other countries like Ukraine, Belarus, Georgia, Kazakhstan, and Moldova, name it, the countries of the former Soviet Union. So we will speak today about Russian-speaking residents of Cyprus. And I will answer 10 questions. With the help of this research, now we know who are those Russians that live in Cyprus, where do they live, what age, what gender, are they married or not, how many children they have, how many people live in the same house, what is their income, and how much money they spend in Cyprus, which is also very important for the local economy, where they spend this money, and the last question about tourists. We know already the development of this situation. If you have questions at the time of my presentation, please leave them in the chat. I will answer all of them at the end of this presentation. Unfortunately, I do not see the questions now when I see the full screen presentation. So it was the first ever social demographic research on the Russian community. Nobody ever dared to make it. It's an expensive exercise because if you take it seriously, and we did take it seriously, you need a lot of money to get answers from people. So I need to mention that I'm very thankful to the Bank of Cyprus when I came to the management of this bank and I explained the magnitude, how serious the research should be, and they just gave the money, which I could pay for professional research and consultancy company. Sofia Vassiliou is the leader of this company. The company is called SIA, Research and Consultancy. So their results that I will present to you now, it's not the results of Vestnik Kipra imagination. Vestnik Kipra has managed to ask 1,200 people approximately, and then SIA Research qualified 1,089 response as qualified as full response that we can count on. So you will see the results of conversations with over 1,000 people now. So the first part of my presentation is about social demographic structure of the Russian-speaking community here in Cyprus. Where they were born, from what countries they came to Cyprus. So most of people who live in Cyprus, they were born in the Soviet Union, if they're 30 years plus, 30 years old and older, or they were born in Russia. The third country, Soviet Union, Russia, and then Ukraine. Okay, so we have the community here from Russia, Ukraine, Soviet Union. 4% of the Russian speakers here in Cyprus, they are from Georgia, 4% from Moldova, 4% from Belarus, and other countries have less participants. That's where they were born. What is their citizenship now? 63% of those Russian-speaking people who live in Cyprus, they have Russian citizenship. And some of them may have two citizenships, Russia and Cyprus. I'm one of them. I still kept my Russian citizenship, but a few years ago, when time came, I've got a Cypriot citizenship. So I have two of them. Many Russian people, majority of Russian people who get Cyprus citizenship, they still keep their Russian citizenship. That's why you see on the screen that from these respondents, from those people who respond to our questions, 63% are having Russian passport, a Cyprus passport, 27%, 11% hold Ukrainian passport. Ukraine does not allow dual citizenship. In case people want to get Cyprus passport, they need to give back their Ukrainian passport. They cannot give both. And then other EU countries, 5% of the Russian population. I will send this presentation to you, so you will have the slides that you see now on the screen, and you can look at them again. You can come back to this results. Where do Russians live? We found out that 67% of the Russian-speaking community live in towns. And I was surprised of a high number of Russian people who live in rural areas, in villages. Okay, it's good. 30% of Russian speakers live in villages. When we speak about regions of Cyprus, of course, Limassol wins. Half of the Russian community in Cyprus, if we take the whole Cyprus, live in Limassol region, 49.37, so 50% approximately. On the second place, we have Nicosia area, 17%. Then Paphos with 16%, Larnaca with 12%, and 4.5% of Russian-speaking people live in Famagusta area. When we speak about gender of the Russian community, it was also a surprise for us, for those who make this research, but then after thinking well about the results, we understood why. 73% of Russians who live in Cyprus are women. And I remember that once a very big and serious Russian newspaper wrote a title, Cyprus, an island of abandoned wives. And we couldn't understand why. And they explained that Russian businessmen sent their wives to Cyprus with family, with children, with grandmothers, and they stay in Russia to work. And then in Russia, they have their lovers, mistress, and so on. So the article was about the fact that the family life is in Cyprus and the freedom is in Moscow or elsewhere. But if to be serious, that's actually the truth. It's not about that they're leaving their wives here, but the truth is that majority of the Russian population here, they're families who live here, and most of fathers, they cannot earn enough money here in Cyprus, so they work abroad. Their permanent residence is abroad, and their wife and their children are permanently residing in Cyprus. Children go to school. Wife doesn't work usually. They are visitors, most of them. There is another part of the Russian population with different structure. And I'm sure that if we repeat this research in 1 year time, the results on gender proportion will be different, because more and more IT people come to Cyprus. And these IT people, they come with their wives. So husbands, usually he is programmer, usually it's he, men, work in such type of a business. He is a programmer or specialist in Forex or IT industry, and the wife is with him and their children. So I believe that in 1 year time, we will have more men proportionally than we have now, not 27%. The age. Good news for those who sell services and goods to the Russian-speaking community is that Russians living in Cyprus are in a very active age, 35 to 54. This is the majority. Look at the results on the screen, 38% plus 26%. So it's how many? 60 plus. Over 60% of Russian-speaking people, they are 35 to 55 years old in Cyprus here. Now, about years in Cyprus. How many years they spent in Cyprus? 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15. So we have the results. And what I want to say to you that 25,000 people approximately, if you look at the numbers, how many people live here 0 to 5 years, 31%. And then you add 20% of those people who are less than 10 years here, you will have about 25,000 people who live in Cyprus not long enough to know everything. And this is good for those who want to offer services, any services from legal to education. These people, they don't know much. So if you will manage to make your PR campaign, to approach these people, to organize for them free events when events are allowed, to inform them via social media about your business and your services, you have a good chance to get new clients from those people who are in Cyprus for not for a long time. Because those people like me who spent in Cyprus more than 20 years, we already know we have our lawyer, our accountant, our friend in every field of activities. So our life is more or less organized. When you work with the Russian-speaking community, you have to pay attention to these 25,000 people, those who come to Cyprus, who came to Cyprus not long time ago. Are they married or not? This was the question. And I am married. That was 69% of those people who answer our questions. They said, I'm married. Plus 7%, they said, I live with someone. So we can say, summarizing, that over 75% of Russian-speaking people in Cyprus, they have family here. Otherwise, they are divorced, they can be widow, and only 10% of Russians in Cyprus are single. Children, 80% of adults who answered our questionnaire have kids. And this is logical. We saw already how many women live here, so family life, we saw the families, and now we see how many families have children. 80% of adults here in Cyprus, they have children, 20% don't. And then the question was, how many children you have? Most of people have 2 or 3 kids. 29 plus 27, it makes more than half. 11% with 1 kid, and then you see on this screen other results. So Russian people in Cyprus have children, and usually they have 2 or 3 kids. In the full version of the report, we have the age of the kids, what school they go, and so on, how much they pay for this school. The research we did was very detailed research. Now we know about the Russian-speaking community a lot, but within 20 minutes presentation, I cannot present you all the details. So we go question by question, and now is the question number 7, and I have 6 minutes to finish with all my 10 questions and 10 subjects that I want to present to you today. How many people live in each household? 11% is just 1 person, and it corresponds with our result that 10% of the population are single. So 10, 11 is more or less the same. So it justified that the research was correct in this way. So 1 person per household, 11%, 2, 29.9, so 30%, 3, 27.9, 28%. Now you see on the screen how many people live in each household. Interesting question, which is important for anyone who work with the Russian community and who provide them with services or goods. How much do they earn? All these 20 years I work in media, I try to explain to my clients that not all Russians are rich. This is myth. This is the myth that was created in Cyprus 30 years ago when Russian people from Soviet Union has collapsed and Russians start coming to Cyprus. They did not know the value of money. And also Cyprus was an expensive destination for them. So only those people who have a lot of money will come into Cyprus. And since then, this myth is very strong. Some people, some Cypriots, think that all Russians are rich. No, like in any community, in any country, 1 or 2% of the population can be called rich. 10%, 12, 15% of the population, it's an upper middle class, and majority of people, it's a middle class and lower middle class. So the same we see here. 2% of our respondents said that they earn more than 1 million per year. 1% earn between 500,000 and 1 million, but majority of people earn less than 100,000 per year. And this is a yearly income per family, not per person, per family of that person who answered our questions. So look at this. You have a lot, how many percent? Let me see, 6, 8, 9, 80, 91, 91% of Russian-speaking people who live here earn less than 100,000 per year. And they might be a very good potential audience for any service. Just don't look at them. Don't try to put your prices high. Don't try to offer to them something very expensive. And you will get, if we say that the community is 50,000, you will get at least 30, 35,000 adults, yes, as your clients, potential clients, for the middle class income and for the services that middle class can afford. How much they spend in Cyprus? 88% of our respondents spent in Cyprus less than 60,000 euro per year. So it justifies what I said to you before, middle class, 60,000 per family. Where do they spend this money? Of course, the majority of their expenses, food and accommodation. And then we said, okay, how much do they spend for the accommodation? Do they own a property or they rent it? And it's half-half. Half of Russian-speaking people here in Cyprus, they have their own property. And this is very high result. We did not expect to find out that 52% of Russian-speaking people have their own property, house or flat. And 48% said that they're renting. Okay, we asked this 48%, how much do you pay for your rent? This is another way to justify their income or their social layer, their position in the society. And 73% of those who rent property in Cyprus pay less than 1,000 euro per month. And then 19% pay less than 1,500 euro. So absolute majority of the population rent the houses and flats with the amount 1,500 euro and less. We know that Vestnik Kipra has a lot of clients who sell property. And then one of the questions was to help these clients to understand what is the potential. And we asked those people who rent properties in Cyprus, are you planning to buy? And actually, we asked everyone, are you planning to buy property? We thought maybe those who own the property may buy the second house, the second flat. And what was the good thing that only 19% said no. Imagine this 50,000 people, a Russian-speaking community, deduct children, let's say 35,000 adults, and only 19% of them, they say, no, we're not planning to buy any property in Cyprus. That is a great news for those people who work in property business. It means 80% consider, some of them, they say yes, 30% said, yes, I will buy. And 51, they said, maybe. Okay. We went one step more. And we asked from those people who said, yes, I will buy property. We asked them, when are you planning to buy property? And the good news is that a lot of people, let me see how many percent, I don't see it now, 32%, said to us that they're planning to buy property within 1 or 2 years. Our conversations and our research were made in December. So that is a result of December. It means within 2021 or 2022, they're planning to buy property. And another good news is about 35% of those people who are planning to buy property in the coming 3 to 5 years. And the last question is almost completed. The question is, where do they spend? They spend a lot of money for cars. Now I'm maybe the only person on this island who knows what brands of cars a Russian-speaking community uses. I showed to you the 4 brands that are absolute favorite, but now we know, I don't know how many, maybe 20 different brands, and how many percent of Russian people own that car or another car. So Toyota is the absolute winner. Mercedes is on the second place with a very small difference. Nissan and BMW. These are 4 brands of the cars that Russian people like and buy in Cyprus. An average Russian in Cyprus spends for grocery 1,235 euro per family, per household, per month. Okay, it's average. Those who live alone will spend less. Those who have 5 children will spend more. This is an average number. Good news for those who are in entertainment business, restaurants or clubs. Russian people spend 500 euro per person. Here we were asking not per family, per person, because we wanted to exclude children. So average 500 euro per person for eating out. It means cafe, restaurant, or maybe evenings, clubs. Russian family spends about 5,000 euro per year for education. You remember how many families? You remember that everyone has children, so they spend around 5,000 euro per family for education. Primary schools, universities, everything was included there. In the full version of the report, we know line by line, so much for kindergarten, so much for school, so much for university. We know the amounts. And shopping in general, it means clothing or any other goods, 785. Again, this is per family, not per person. I have to finish, my 20 minutes run out, but I have few more slides that was just additional for the questions that I posed myself. I wanted to show to you the education of Russian people. Most of them, they have bachelor and master degree and PhD. Look at the numbers. About 80% of Russian people who live in Cyprus, they have higher education. So when you talk to them, don't speak to them like with children. Explain everything in details, they will understand. Type of employment. 35% of Russian speakers are employees in a local company. And 25% are employees in a foreign or international company. 16% of those Russians who answered our questions are owners of a local business, and 12% have managerial position of an international company. Then on the right part of the slide, you see how many people work in such companies, and you can see that 40% of people work in a company that has only 1 to 5 employees. That's interesting. And what is the first number? 44%. They are self-employed, but don't confuse the status of self-employed in Cyprus and the status of individualny предприниматель, individual entrepreneur in Russia. In Russia, it's wise. They said, you work for yourself, you can hire other people, but you will pay to us a flat fee of 6%. So Russian people who showed that they work for themselves, they are not those who are employed in Cyprus as self-employed. No, they are those who pay 6% of their income to Russia, and they don't need to do anything else. That is a wonderful system. You earn as much as you earn, you pay 6% to the government, and you don't have any documents to submit anymore. You just get your income for the specific bank account. The government sees this account, takes 6%, and that's it. So this 44%, they are self-employed, but I believe that they're self-employed in Russia. And the last one, the last slide I want to show to you, it's banking in Cyprus. It's all we were curious to know, because our main sponsor, the organizations that paid for this research actually was Bank of Cyprus. We wanted to know what banks Russian bank with, and we found out that yes, majority of the Russian community has at least one account in the Bank of Cyprus. Hellenic Bank is on the second place. Astra Bank and other banks are far behind two major banks in Cyprus. That's it. I finished my presentation. This is a slide which shows the details of the whole report, and I'm going to send to you this slide via email after the presentation is finished. Now I will switch off the video recording, and I will answer your questions, which I already see in the chat.